friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sabrina if you're new here, and I live in Central Oregon, and today I'm canning tomatoes. This was a total accident. I mean, not completely an accident, but I had canning salsa on my to-do list, and I just got done finishing canning the beets that you saw me do. Actually, at this point, I don't even have it edited, so you will see the beets video by the time you get to this one. But I went to the farm stand like I do every couple days to get my weekly or daily things that I use, and I told the owner, I said, I see that the farms in the valley are getting the aromas in. When do you think that you'll be getting your aromas? And he told me I have them now. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't want them now. Because I'm not ready to can yet because I'm still recovering from the beets. But you know, there's people that do this every day, all day, and with their families, and I have no room to whine about it. I'm thankful I get to can fresh produce from here in Oregon. But I just kind of was joking with him saying, but I'm not ready yet. And he says, well, I'll give you a deal because I overproduced. So I'm like, what kind of deal? And so he says, let me do the math. And so it ended up coming to $1 a pound. So I got 25 pounds of tomatoes for $25. And I said, take my money, please. And I said, my husband is going to kill me. But no, my husband did not kill me. We actually went to the farm stand the next day because I needed onions and jalapenos and all the things to make this today. And they were running a sale for 5 ears of corn for $1, and they are beautiful corn. So I think they may have been the bodacious. So I'm just thrown off because it's August 10th today, and I feel like everything's like coming early for us. I'm not sure if I'm just like if I'm just not embracing that time of year already. I'm not quite sure, but I bought corn and we came home and we had some, and my husband says, we have to go back and we need to buy more corn. And I said, only if you help me process the corn. And he was great. We went back, we piled up on all the corn. He helped me shuck it, and I blanched it, and we freeze wrapped it. Let me show you. I'm running out of room, let's just say that. But I just like to do it on the, just leave it on the cob. I just blanch it for 3 minutes and then let it dry and then do it this way. And we only use 1 corn a meal, or 1 cob. My husband and I generally will only eat a half a cob. So this is gonna work out great, and I have a ton of it now. So it will definitely get us through the winter. And then I will just buy the pre-frozen bag corn if I need it for any kind of upcoming meal in a jar recipes, which this project has provoked that now. My thinker has been working because I don't think I want 25 pounds of salsa. But we're gonna see where we end up today and see if I end up doing some soups. But anyway, so that's what we're doing today. We are canning salsa. Let me go ahead and grab my recipes, and I'm gonna kind of tell you what I'm doing this year. I think I'm gonna do something a little different than I normally do. So let me get this corn put away and grab my cookbooks. All right, I just had a sneezing attack. I'm sorry if I sound a little nasally all of a sudden. But I have tried several salsa recipes over the last 4 or 5 years I've been canning. And I've never really found one that I liked until I got one from a friend that shared on her video. And we love it. Now, she cold packs it. I cold packed it. From what I could tell, that's a big no-no. But I don't know. I've made this now. This will be my 3rd year. And This one I canned in August of 2025, and I've never had a problem with it. So since I'm videoing this, I really wanted to try doing something that was approved, something that I felt safe with sharing. And I know I could just go along and just do it and just tell you that this is an approved recipe, but I thought maybe I should just change things up this year anyway and try something new. So just for the heck of it, I had ChatGPT take a picture of my recipe and ask it if it could find an approved recipe similar to this. And at first it came back and said, is this a family, or is this an approved recipe, or did you get it from a family or a friend recipe? And I said it was a recipe from a friend. I haven't had problems with it. And he told me, or she, or whatever it is, that everything was good, except that I was using a half a cup of lemon juice, and it suggested that I increase the lemon juice to 3/4 cup. I'm like, okay, that seems like a simple thing. Then it must have thought about it and came back and said, actually, I can't say that that's an approved recipe because I've searched everywhere and I don't recommend you doing that. You shouldn't cold pack it. You need to heat it, blah, 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 blah. So I don't know. He must have gotten in trouble from the higher of AI aboves. But I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I'm going to be on a mission here to find something similar. And my recipe calls for 8 cups of tomatoes, 1 onion, 1 jalapeno, 1 cup of cilantro, 3 garlic cloves, and then you blend that in a blender or a food processor. I mean, look at the beautiful color of that. And this was from August of 2025. 1 tablespoon of oregano, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, or tablespoons, 2 ounces of tomato paste, and then 3/4 cup of lemon juice. Because I upped it. It was a half a cup. So I did some work. I looked on the internet. I found nothing on the food safe food preserve site that I liked. I've tried them before, and it was like 9 cups of onions to 4 cups of tomatoes. I videoed that one. It's like my 42 jars of salsa. I'm still working through that. It's so terrible. It's just good for like, I think I talked about it before, but it's good for throwing it in the crock pot with chicken, making like salsa chicken or chicken enchiladas or whatnot. And so I found one through ballmasonjars.com. I wrote it down. It's called Fresh Salsa if you want to find it. It calls for 7 cups of tomatoes, 6 green onions. Like, why are we, green onions and salsa? Is that a thing? 2 jalapenos, 4 garlic cloves, a half a cup of white vinegar, 2 tablespoons of lime juice, 2 tablespoons of cilantro, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 4 drops of hot sauce. So that was comparable to my recipe. But I'm kind of wondering if with the acidity of the lemon juice and the tomato paste is adding acidity too, if it's still fine. I mean, I literally have not had a problem with it on my shelf. But I bought a bunch of tomato paste, so I really want to add tomato paste because I bought it. And there's no way I'm going to go through all this tomato paste. So there's that one, if you want to check out that one. It's just called Fresh Salsa at ballmasonjars.com. Let me know if you have ever eaten salsa with green onions in it. Is that something that's just like regional? I don't know. All right, so the next recipe I'm jumping to is the all new Ball Book of Canning. And there is a page called Salsa in 3 Easy Steps. So it's just basically, you know, this isn't science, like it is science, but there's not all these steps. That's like this recipe I liked. Just throw it in the blender, you blend it up, you fill your jars, you water bath it. But this is just saying combined ingredients for desired salsa. Bring to a boil in a large stainless steel or enamel saucepan. Reduce heat and simmer for 5 minutes. Ladle into jars, blah, blah, blah. So instead of not cooking this, I'm definitely going to try cooking it this year. It does say that it helps like mingle the spice or mingle the flavors better. I always just thought that I like pico de gallo. So this recipe reminded me the most of pico de gallo. And then most recipes call for bell peppers, and I do not like the texture of bell peppers in my salsa. I like fresh salsa. And so that's what I was trying to mock, was that fresh flavor. You get what I'm going with? And so don't get me wrong, I love bell peppers, but I don't want them in my salsa, and it is hard to find that. But this one has a green tomato salsa verde with 2 pounds of green tomatoes, 1 cup of finely chopped red onion, 1 to 2 jalapenos, a half a cup of chopped fresh cilantro, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 garlic cloves, and 1/3 of a cup of fresh lime juice. So that is pretty comparable to the one I have, except I'm gonna increase that lemon juice, and I'm gonna add the tomato paste, which is concentrated. So you would think the acidity, like I'm just repeating myself, I know, but talk through this with me, okay? And then I have another recipe called tomato jalapeno, okay? It's 2 pounds of plum tomatoes, 1 medium onion. Okay, I'm liking it so far. 2 jalapenos, liking it. It's increasing my jalapenos to 2, which I can do that. We like jalapenos, we like spicy stuff. Half a cup or 1/4 cup of finely chopped fresh cilantro, which is probably a cup of cilantro finely chopped. A teaspoon of salt, the same. It says a half a teaspoon of black pepper. It's safe to omit that. That's going bye-bye. 2 garlic cloves minced, and a half a cup of fresh lime juice. Again, I'm increasing that to 3/4 according to Chat GPT. And I feel good about that. So it's basically, I did the research, and it's saying that you don't really want to change the amount of vegetables in a recipe. And another thing is that you don't want to swap vinegar for a lemon juice. If the recipe calls for a certain amount of lemon juice, you don't want to swap that for vinegar. There's some, I was reading it on the National Food Preservation website, because I was going through okay, what is going to make this salsa safe? You know, what's the science behind it? So this is the closest one so far that I think I'm going to use, is the tomato jalapeno. I think I'm going to use that one, because then I feel like I'm sharing with you a proper recipe that's been tested. I am still going to add my tomato paste, and if you want to make this recipe and add tomato paste, and you can freeze this too, it freezes well. But I think the only alternate thing that I'm going to do is add tomato paste, and I'm going to taste it. But I mean, that's only going to increase, I think, the pH. That's what I'm thinking, because it's basically the same recipe as what I just read off here, except we're increasing a jalapeno, and that's it. And then I'm putting oregano in place of the black pepper. I'm just going to go ahead and get some vinegar water in here and start getting these tomatoes clean. I am going to go ahead and start with 1 batch. This recipe doesn't say how many, oh yeah, it says 6 pints. So I'm going to double this batch. That'll give me 12 pints. And that's only 4 pounds of my tomatoes. I feel like that never matches. And that weight says, it's from chopped. So, and also, if you want to, you can peel your tomatoes. If you don't like the texture of the skin, I don't mind the texture of the skin. I've never been bothered by it in my salsa product. Plus, I feel like getting rid of the skin gets rid of nutrition that's in that skin. So I just always want to make the most out of my product. I know some recipes say it's safer to peel the skin. This recipe actually doesn't say to peel the skin. So I don't know if things have changed on that. I know things like potatoes and stuff, You want to peel the skin because the skin sort of holds onto that dirt. And the dirt is what is trapped in that jar that grows the botulism that everyone's scared about. So, but these are beautiful tomatoes, absolutely beautiful. I've had such good luck this year with beautiful produce. So I just use this cheap little awesome tool. It's used for strawberries. I actually don't ever use it for my strawberries, but I found it comes in perfect for coring these tomatoes. I just go like that. I'm making a mess on my floor. There you go. Perfect. I need to get a bowl to put these in. Actually, I'm going to grab my cutting board and just throw them on my cutting board. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and measure and see where we're at so far. All right, so we're wanting 4 pounds. See how many I can get in a bowl. Whoops. Forgot to tear it. All right, now we're cooking. Whoop. All right, so we're at 4 pounds there. £5, okay. 3 more pounds. All right, there we go. All right, so 8 pounds of tomatoes. We went to storage and I cannot find my stock pot anywhere. I also have another water bath canner that's a big stainless steel one, and I can't find that. So I don't know if they're in another tote that is not with the canning stuff in the storage unit. I'm not quite sure. I'm hoping I did not get rid of my stock pot. I got rid of, when we moved from our large home, it was a very stressful time in my life. And at that point, I thought we were moving to Alaska, or we had already been in talks with a rental agency up there to rent a place. And it's a long story, but the gal didn't end up following through with us, and it was a whole thing. But I got rid of a lot of stuff because I had that mentality that we're moving everything that we own at some point to Alaska, which is not out of the question, still could happen at some point. But it's it worked out because we did move into a tiny home, and I didn't need a lot of stuff anyway, but I really could use that stock pot, but I don't think I got rid of it. But I actually did find this one. It was in one of my totes with my canning jars, and I used it yesterday when I processed all that corn. So it's clean. I am just going to have to cook in here, and then when I fill my jars, I'll just have to clean this, and then we'll use this to water bath because the steam canner only holds about 6 pints, and so there's no way. I'd rather just fit everything in here if possible. But I actually wonder if this would work, if these tomatoes are too soft or not for my tomato chopper. I used that in the past before because I kind of maybe want a little bit smaller. What do you guys think? Let me get that food chopper. I can remember how these fit in. Maybe I had it locked. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay. Where'd that half go? Well, that is about the same size. It was quicker though. Let's try the other one. I feel like I need like an in-between size. That definitely took more effort. All right, so we're looking like that. What do I want? Well, let's do this for a while and see how it goes. Goodbye, Nat. Get out of here, Nat. I think that'll work. Maybe I'll just do a mix of the different sizes. Eight cups of tomatoes are in, and I went ahead and just the small setting on this. I think I need a new one. You can just order the replacement parts on these, but I had a hard time with the bigger tomatoes, so I just used this one for the small one and then this one for the big one, and I think it's going to give a nice texture difference there. I don't know, once you cook it, I guess it really doesn't matter, but all right, so now we need to process onions, and I believe because this recipe is similar to my other one, we want 1 onion finely chopped. So I'm going to go ahead and grab 2 onions and my food processor. All right, so it's calling for 2 medium onions. These ones are actually, I'm using Walla Walla onions, and these weren't grown in Oregon, but they were actually grown in Walla Walla, Washington, which is just a couple hours from here. So they're close, and technically Walla Walla onions can only be grown in Walla Walla to be sold as Walla Walla. I mean, you can buy Walla Walla onion seeds and plant them at home, but I don't know, I heard that at one point, don't quote me on it, but these are actually from Walla Walla. So, and these are my favorite sweet onion. There is the, what's the V one? Those come out like seasonally, and those are so good too, but I'll pop it up on the screen. Okay. I swear, once I start filming, I lose all brain power. Let's see, I need a smaller. All right, everyone, hold on for one moment. Now we need 2 jalapenos. I need to grab those. And I went ahead and grabbed extra, which I'm glad I did. Let's see, that's the big one and the little one. So I'm gonna do 4, 2 per recipe. Give these a quick wash real quick. And this says seeded and minced. You don't have to seed them. If you want it extra spicy, go right ahead and leave the seeds in. But since I'm adding more jalapeno, which my husband will be very happy about, I don't think I need the seeds. Should be using my big knife. These are some strong peppers. Now there's a few in here that didn't quite get chopped, but I don't want to pulverize it. Oh my goodness. So I'm just going to hand chop those. Right there. Once I cook it down anyway, it's going to lose its integrity a bit. Oh man, but does it smell good. I did purchase cilantro at the farm stand, but I had, if you saw my grocery haul, I had some cilantro I bought from Trader Joe's. And I've already used some of it, but I still want to go for this first because it's older. And a good way to store it, if you didn't know, is you want to chop off the ends and then immerse it in some water in a mason jar. And then make sure you cover it with, since this comes in plastic, I just leave it on. I just cut the bottom. You can also use a plastic bag. Also, another way that I preserve it, since I had quite a bit of it and I didn't have room for all this standing up in mason jars, is I did not wash it, but this is washed. But I ran it through my salad spinner because it was really wet from the farmer's market, and I just wrapped it in paper towel and then put it in a Ziploc bag. So, all right. So I'm just gonna toss this back in here for now. Oh wait, I'm doubling. I gotta remember that. Yes, I've doubled everything else. All right, so we want, what was it on this recipe? It was 1/4 cup of finely chopped. So I wonder how this would, I'm just gonna cut it with my knife, I think. I think I'm gonna do a little bit more. We're getting close here. I forgot about the garlic. I wanted to blend that too. I just got a garlic, excuse me, a real garlic, not the garlic. I'm trying to be very intentional on making sure that I'm making my product the best I can. So it says 2 cloves. I'm doubling it, but I just measure with your heart, because what is life without garlic? Like, there is no life without garlic. Garlic, so healthy for you too. Come on. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get my food processor back going, food process real quick, and then we'll move over to the stove. I wish we had smell-o-vision because oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get this on low just to get it going here. And I need to get my acid in there and my seasoning, and then I'll add the tomato paste, which is my addition, once it starts breaking down a little bit. All right, so we got our canning book, and so it said a half a cup of fresh lime juice. We are actually using lemon because I know that it's an approved 5% acidity, so I can guarantee a safer product. And I think I have a little left in here. I do. So I'll need to add a cup into this. All right. So this is where videoing and canning, I need to give up. I had to go back and watch the video because I was just re-looking at your recipe, which you should do multiple times. And one was 2 pounds. 2 pounds it called for, and I'm doubling it. So I should have only put 4 pounds of tomatoes in here. And I went back and watched, and I did put 8 pounds. I did 5, and then I said I needed 3 more. Because in my head, I said I needed 4, and that meant 4 total. So when I was measuring, I was thinking at 4 that I needed to double it, so I did 8. So literally, I just quadrupled it, which is fine. I still have plenty of tomatoes left. But I need to make 2 more batches of everything else because what I did was all right, I'm back. So I went ahead and added 2 more onions, making it 4 onions. And I gotta say this out loud because the recipe called for 1 onion, so we are quadrupling it, so that's 4 onions. And then it was 2 jalapenos. I had put 4 in there. I only had 3 left, so but a couple of them are really big. So I went ahead and put the other 3 jalapenos in. And then it said a 1/4 cup of chopped cilantro. We had already put a half a cup in, so I went ahead and put another half a cup in. And then we want a half a cup of lemon or lime juice. I had measured out a cup. I put that in. I had measured out a full cup of lemon juice because 2 times was a cup, and now I'm making it 2 more times to make 4, so we're doing 2 cups of lemon juice. Right? Yes, 4 times a half a cup is 2 cups. All right, this math is math in here, and thankfully I don't have to go to the store for this recipe for that, but okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn this back on, and we're going to add 4 teaspoons of salt. All right, so I'm using my approved canning salt. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'm doubting myself on everything. Okay, we're all good. And then I am omitting the black pepper, but we're going to use oregano. So we'll see if I have enough oregano. And I'm going to do my original recipe was tablespoons. So I'm going to do 4 tablespoons. And again, this isn't part of the original recipe, but you can mess around with spices. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just using a dried oregano freeze dried would be nice, but this works. Okay. And I need to put that on the list if I'm out of it. Okay. And then, oh, I need to add more garlic. Actually I had added extra garlic. All right, so that is it for this. Let me double check. I feel like there was something in my other recipe that oh, the tomato paste, I think it was. I did look, and tomato paste is a approved addition to salsa if your salsa's too thin. So I'm not going to stress about that. So just putting that out there. It says you still should follow the recipe, but it is an approved addition. Okay, and I'm gonna wait to add my tomato paste until I see what we're looking at for thickness, because I guess, I mean, I don't have to add it. I just like the taste of it. I'm just gonna go ahead and give this a stir. That salt should start breaking down those tomatoes. All right, so we're not at the boiling point yet, but we already are looking watery. So I'm just gonna go ahead and sneak in a couple cans of tomato paste and see what we're at. Also, I'm going to try this and test for salt, because I might want to add a little bit more salt. So we'll just start with 1 can and see how we go here. I'm thinking 2 cans. All right, so that definitely helped thicken it up, the 2 cans. I'm not gonna add any more until I taste test it, but we're just gonna let it simmer here. Oh, sorry about that. It says bring to a boil, which I kind of already done, and then simmer for 5 minutes. So I'm gonna let it come back up to a simmer since I added in that tomato paste, and then I'm gonna give it a taste test. Yeah, it's definitely breaking down quite a bit. I don't think it needs any more salt. Wow, I can't believe 4 teaspoons of salt got it there. I taste the oregano. I'm turning this off. Let's get this off. I don't want it to cook anymore. I'm gonna let it set here for a few minutes and see if I do want to add any more. Whoops, sorry. Tomato paste. I think it's good though. You can definitely taste that jalapeno on the back end now. I'm just trying to think if it's anything else. I'm wondering if I should put a little bit more citrus actually. Now the tomato paste had just tomatoes and citric acid, so like I said, it had citric acid in it too that adds to it. Let me get another spoon here and think about this acid on it. Might need a little bit more acid to cut through that jalapeno. I like, another reason why I don't like over salting my salsa is typically you're using it with the tortilla chip, right? And that's already salty, typically, if you eat tortilla chips like we do. I think it's good. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and finish cleaning up my mess, and then we'll get these jarred up so I can clean this and get that going. And I pulled these out of the dishwasher this morning, so they are all nice and clean after being in storage for 2 years. All right, and I think that this is, I can't remember the headspace on this. Let me look. Oh, that's wet. Ladle and leaving 1/2 inch headspace. Process jars for 15 minutes. Okay, and then mine's gonna be 20 minutes at my, no, 25 minutes, I think. 10 minutes for mine. I went ahead and filled my jars with hot water and have them sitting. Since I'm putting hot product in a hot, I want it in a warmer jar so we don't have any problems. All right. And I got that one a little full. No big deal though. The way we fix that is like this. Perfect. My husband texted on his lunch and I told him, guess what we're having tonight? Tacos. With fresh salsa. I want to make sure I get all the good stuff out. All right. So I ended up with 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 jars. I think that I don't remember, like I said, how many my canner holds. All right, this water is hot. Almost too hot for this temperature here, so I need to get these in. I went ahead and ate lunch and lost track. Okay. See how many I can get in here. Whoopsie. Can I get one more? No. The downfall of wide mouth. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and lower this down. Oh yeah, I put plenty of water in there. In fact, I'm definitely have to make sure it doesn't boil over. So I have 4 left to can, so I'll have to run this. I might want to know how to run this then. I don't know. No, because we're going to eat this tonight. So I'm going to run the other 4 separately. So once this comes up to a boil, I'll set my timer for me is going to be 25 minutes. If you're below, I think at 500, it's 15 minutes, but make sure you check your elevation. Again, I ended up using the, this book. I'm brain dead. And I use the tomato jalapeno recipe on the salsa page. So I will go ahead and link this book. I think it was like $11 or $12, if that. Last time I linked it, I looked on Amazon. So super affordable, a great book. As you can see, I'm gonna have to tag this one now. Because I think this might be the new favorite salsa. I'm gonna have to give it a try here with the chip and check it out. So thanks again for joining me on today's canning adventure. Remember, every bit counts for the month of August. We want to get things from summer, prep for winter, so we don't have to worry about it then. Anyway, have a blessed day, and I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.